My fourth time in the finals, thanks to that man right over there.
Batman, 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 what? Batman, Batman, yeah. Batman, yeah. Batman, yeah. Batman, Batman, hey, Batman, Batman, what? Mr. Never use a gap, man. Yeah. Never turn like a Batman.
Kobe Bryant being carried by Shaq is nothing more than a lazy and completely unjustifiable narrative that's been going on for years now, and is nothing more than a way to discredit Kobe being Bryant. And in this video today, we're going to go ahead and debunk that myth. But before we go ahead and do that, right there on the screen for you guys, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button if you like what I do, follow me on all these social media platforms, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the business. Now, where does this narrative come from? Well, it comes from uninformed fans all over NBA Twitter, all over the internet, who want nothing more than to discredit Kobe being Bryant. Shaq carried Kobe in the Lakers three-peat. Look right there, tweet right there on the screen. Disregard the LeBron part. This is not a LeBron video, but you see tweets like this all over the internet when people talk basketball. And that is exactly why this video had to have been made. And let's just go ahead and start talking. Now, the first series, the first finals that I'll be willing to debate about is the year 2000. In the 2000 NBA Finals, Kobe Bryant only put up 15 points per game, which is actually less than the amount of rebounds per game that Shaq was gathering in the 2000 NBA Finals. But what doesn't get talked about is the road to the finals. And in the Western Conference Finals against the Portland Trail Blazers, the Lakers fought a tough 7-game series. And in Game 7, Shaq underperformed horribly, only putting up 18 points and 9 rebounds. And Kobe Bryant had to save the day. He came in, he stepped up, and he put up 25, 11, and 7 and saved the Lakers from a Game 7 elimination to the Trailblazers. Or we can even talk about the 2000 NBA Finals themselves. In Game 4, heading into overtime, Shaq fouls out of the game. Kobe Bryant takes over and saves the day, putting up 8 points on 4 of 5 shooting in the 5-minute overtime period to save the game. No one ever talks about these things because no one actually cares. They're cool with the narrative that Shaq carried Kobe, I'm sorry. And look, right there on the screen, these are the playoff averages from the 2000 season to the 2004 NBA season. And look how look how close this is. But mind you, this was getting carried. This is what getting carried looks like according to casuals all over the internet. I have it right on the screen for you. Kobe Bryant from 2000 to 2004 playoff averages put up 26 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 1.5 steals, and almost a block per game, while Shaq not doing that much better. Now from that same stretch, Shaq put up 27.5 points per game, so only a point and a half more than Kobe was. 14.2 rebounds per game, which is to be expected. Obviously, Shaq is a center, and Kobe Bryant was a 6'6" shooting guard. Assists per game, 3, which he was less than Kobe, but again, to be expected. Shaq is a center, Kobe's a shooting guard. Steals per game, 0.5, and blocks, 2.6. But again, that block advantage, it's to be expected. Shaq was just simply a much bigger player, played a completely different position. I shouldn't even have to explain that. I mean, that's just pretty obvious. Now, let's go ahead and look at overall final stats. Now, in the finals, as teammates, so not, 2008, 2009, 2010 when they weren't teammates, just as teammates from the year 2000 till 2004, so all those finals appearances. Shaq, 33 points per game, 14 boards, 3.2 assists, 2.4 blocks, and half a steal a game, which seems a decent amount better than what Kobe was putting up. But there's no way you can tell me that somebody who's an all-star, someone who's putting up more than 20 points per game, is getting carried. And in fact, I can prove it to you. No one ever talks about Scottie Pippen being carried to championships. But the disparity between his stats and Michael Jordan's stats and Kobe's stats and Shaq's stats are much larger. No one says Scottie Pippen was carried, even though the difference between Jordan's output and Scottie's output was larger than the difference between Shaq and Kobe's. But Kobe was carried, Scottie Pippen wasn't. It's nothing more than being a hypocrite. It's nothing more than a contradiction by people who don't understand how basketball works. They don't understand anything about the sport, yet they're in our community. He wasn't carried. Like I said before, the only season that I would even debate about, the only season that I would even consider is the year 2000. Anything after that is just completely nonsense. Now, what I want to talk about with you guys is Shaq's underperformance, his underwhelming performances against the San Antonio Spurs, because it's a big deal. In almost every single year they faced the Spurs, Shaq was outperformed by Tim Duncan and the Spurs. But how did the Lakers end up beating the Spurs then? That's the question, right? Well, it comes in the form of Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is the main reason why the Lakers were able to beat the Spurs all these years. And I'm going to go ahead and prove it to you. Now, right there is the screen. Right there on the screen are the stats between Duncan and Shaq every time they face each other in the playoffs. And when you look at these stats, it becomes quite clear that Duncan just outperformed him. So, once again, how did the Lakers beat the Spurs? Right there on the screen. That's how they beat the Spurs. When you compare the statistical output, the performances Kobe had to put on against those Spurs, it's insane. Kobe in the 2001 Western Conference Finals versus the Spurs put up 33.3 points per game, 7 boards, 7 assists, 1.5 steals, 0.8 blocks per game to Shaq's only 27. He outscored Shaq, but I thought Kobe was carried. It doesn't make any sense. Speaking of the year 2001, Kobe Bryant actually posted this a while back, way back on his Instagram. Look at the stats from the 2001 playoff run. That's what being carried looks like in 2020. When people who don't know anything about basketball talk about Kobe, they say he was carried. Like, you have to look at somebody like an idiot when they say something like that. Now, back to the Spurs point. 2002 Western Conference semifinals. Shaq putting up 21 points per game. I thought he was the most dominant player ever. I thought he carried Kobe. Kobe was putting up 26. Come on now. I mean, when you say Kobe was carried, I really have to question your basketball knowledge. And did you think I was done yet? I wasn't done yet. 2004 Western Conference semifinals versus the Spurs. Again, Shaq only put up 22.5 points per game. But I thought Kobe carried him. I thought Shaq carried Kobe. Well, I mean, this doesn't make any sense. Usually when you're getting carried, it means you're barely putting up any effort. You're not putting any real value into a basketball game. But Kobe outscored Shaq. So, once again, when you say Kobe's carried, I tend to look at you real funny. Now, what is this video not supposed to be? I don't want you to watch this video and think I'm trying to say Kobe was better than Shaq during that first three-peat, because I'm definitely not. Anyone with any type of sense will tell you, and with certainty, that Shaq was a better player because he simply was the better player. But to say Kobe was carried, now that is just complete nonsense. It was more of a 1A, 1B type situation. Kobe Bryant contributed sometimes even more than Shaq was. And that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something new, or maybe you didn't and you just wanted, to touch up on your knowledge. I hope this video gave you some type of value. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media platforms, and I'll talk to you guys soon. NBA One Hoops, signing off.